Hello, hello, beautiful, gorgeous business women. Hi, spiritual entrepreneurs. My name is Andrea. I'm one of the co-founders here of the Detox S.P.A for business women. Today, we're going to be talking about how to protect your energy from toxic relationships. I'm bringing Raquel on so we can have a chat about this. Sometimes, we have a lot of toxic people in our life, and sometimes they even live under our roof. So today, right now, welcome, say hello. We're going to be talking about how to protect that energy because it's important for you to protect yourself from this so you can obtain and manifest everything that you want this 2019. So welcome Raquel to the line. I'm just gonna tell you if you're watching us that this is not there's no coincidences. We help you activate your confidence and rise up your influence so you can attract a life you love. So we want to help you with strategies to thrive this 2019 and actually manifest that life. So go ahead, Raquel.
Yes, we're so happy to be here that we're actually able to do this one together. We've been kind of first Anna and then me, and then so we haven't had our schedules synced up because we had so much to do. But yay, the dynamic duo is here for you today. So I wanted to start this conversation first with thinking about, is the relationship toxic or is it there for your benefit? And so let's talk, and I'm going to talk about it through your personality gift clusters. For instance, if you're a person who's the salt of the earth, you're a team worker, you're very focused on family and friends, those things are like the most important things to you. You like to really slow down and look at the details about things. Someone who's going to probably rub you the wrong way, even though you're kind of attracted to them, is someone with a dominant personality. So you might think like, man, that person never lets me talk. Doesn't listen to anything I have to say, is always rushing me, is always like, get to the point already. I'm trying to explain something and they don't want to hear it. And so it might come across toxic to you because they have a different personality gift cluster. Someone with the dominant personality, they don't want to know all the details. And so if you don't understand and appreciate and really discern the other person's gift clusters, what is there for your benefit might feel like it's toxic because you're not connecting with them in a way that is beneficial for the two of you. It is the same thing like someone who is an influencer, right? They're storytellers, they're very creative. And so what they have in common with the dominant is they're both big vision people. But the influencer also goes into the details a lot. So if they come across somebody who's dominant, they might feel like, wow, that person is toxic to me, because they might feel overwhelmed by the energy of someone who's dominant. And so it's not that the person is toxic, is that as an influencer, you're not recognizing the gift cluster of somebody who is different than you. So until you learn how to communicate effectively and being able to recognize that, you might misconstrue a relationship as toxic when it's not, or not being able to turn that relationship around for both your benefits. Now, it's not going to work all the time because some people, they don't want to do the work. They're never going to do the work. And they don't really give a shit, really, to be honest. And so whoever wants to communicate the most is the one who has to do the work. This also happens a lot to people who are deep critical thinkers. Because they're critical thinkers, they get to see all the pitfalls. And somebody who's like the influencer or the salt of the earth, they don't want to hear it because they're people, they're more optimistic in nature, they're wired for optimism. And so when they come across somebody who's a dominant, who might be in a very strong dominant energy, and so they might feel overwhelmed, or a critical thinker, and a critical thinker is going to see their pitfalls, you might be like, man, that person's a negative Nelly. And you might then misconstrue their gifting of being able to poke holes in things as being toxic. But they're actually just doing what they're designed to do. Their gift is to poke holes. Their gift is to see what you don't see as somebody who's optimistic. Like the dominant personality is more the realist. The critical thinker is the pessimist, and then the influencer and the salt of the earth are the optimists. So when you have these different viewpoints, if you don't know how to leverage it, then you might misconstrue it as toxic. Someone who is a critical thinker, it can be very toxic, because if they haven't learned that they have to release the truth in love, then what they're saying is the truth. But, and just like the dominant, when the dominant speaks, they're speaking in truth. But if they don't release it in love, then it doesn't do any good. Truth has to be spoken in love. And it doesn't mean that you have to be soft about it all the time, but you have to be clear in your intentions, and having as much as you can, and nothing's 100%, is making it clear to the other person that I'm not doing this to pick on you. This is what I'm seeing, and this is really for your benefit because I care about you. And if you're in a business situation with people and you're trying to connect with them and you're like, wow, I have to deal with this person because I have to. I don't really want to, but that person always drives me nuts every time they're around me. Then my challenge to you then is to say, what is it about that person that triggers you? Are they mirroring something about yourself, about you, that you don't like?
Ouch.
What is the lesson that you're supposed to be learning? Because if you don't learn the lesson with that person you view as toxic, that energy is just going to come back into your life until you learn your lesson. So you need to learn what the lesson is. What is the lesson? Are you supposed to learn the languaging in order for you to connect? And what I wanted to say was, and this is particularly for the Christians, and if you're not a Christian, this doesn't really pertain to you. But if you're a Christian, we're called to be Christ ambassadors. And it's a love walk, which means that we are to love the unlovable, the unlovely. That is our call. That is our primary calling, is to walk in love. That's where our power source is. Our source. So if you think of your body as a battery, right? And all that charged up and all that power that comes out of us, the charge comes from the source, and source is love. And so if you are a Christian, then you are in Christ, and Christ means the anointed one and his anointing, and God is love. It's not something that he acts in. That's what he is. So that's all he can do. All he can do is be in love. I was talking to Carmen earlier about some things, and this just gave me an aha moment about the mercy of Jesus that I never saw before. And I was talking to her about the story came up in my head when Jesus was casting out demons, and he asked the demon his name, and he was merciful to the demon. He said, "Where do you want to go?" The demon said, "The pigs." He said, "Okay, go there." And we both stopped and looked at each other, and we thought, Jesus gave mercy to demons? Like, he could have just sent them straight to hell, straight to the pit, but he gave them a choice. It's like I never saw it that way. Like, he actually gave them a choice. Like, you got to get out. But mercy said, I'm going to even give you a choice. That is mercy. That even to his enemy, and maybe he just perceived that the pigs were going to run into the water and kill themselves, because they're like, I ain't having it. You ain't invading my body. You're going to still go to the pit because I don't want you in my body. In that moment, Jesus showed mercy to an enemy. And so a lot of these lessons that we go through, people who are unlovely and unkind with their languaging, words, when you move around the letters, words can be swords. So death and life are in the power of our tongue. We get to initiate the life cycle or death cycle to something by the words that we speak with intention. And particularly for Christians, when we're called to be ambassadors of heaven and Christ, the way the world knows who we are is how we love each other. How we love each other. And this is really the challenge of how to manage a toxic relationship, or relationship that feels toxic, whether it's toxic in reality or just toxic in your head, right? How do you treat your enemy? How are you will you show mercy? How do you protect your energy so that you are not absorbing those negative things? Because when you absorb those negative things and the experiences, those words that come out like swords, they cut you up. And if you're all cut up, then those traumatic moments get sealed in your cells. And if they multiply, because you have more and more and more of them, they will manifest themselves if those things don't get healed. So I wanted to first challenge you to think about, is it really toxic, or is it just a personality that I don't like? And if I don't like them, why don't I like them? Why does that person rub me the wrong way? What am I supposed to learn from it? And then we'll talk about now, once you think about those things, be aware, because this is the year 3. We are triune beings, like Father, Son, Holy Spirit. We are body, mind, we are body, soul, and spirit. And this is a year, is a catalyst year. 19 means catalyst. So what is launching for you? What do you want launched? What do you want how do you want to be propelled? You're going to have to do some work in this area of relationship, because it's touching everything. If the relationship is actually toxic, and because when you're when you go into someone's presence, are you dreading it? Or is it like, oh, I feel good around this person? You're not always going to feel good with somebody. Is not, nothing's 100%. But 80, 90% of the time or higher, you should be having a good experience with them. Whether it means that every time you're in their presence, you learn something, or, you get really excited about something, or you get clarity, or, you have some fun, or whatever it is, right? Or maybe you get the opportunity to kind of release your inner genius for them and be a blessing to them. And that's why you like hanging around with them, because you get to do something good. But if most of the conversations you're having leave you with feeling bad about yourself, with lowering your self-esteem, with making you feel less of who you are, we're hitting your identity, and the way you feel about yourself is less than who you know you really are, then that is toxic. And sometimes you can turn those relationships around. I have my day job, my boss's boss. She's a highly dominant, critical thinker. She's both. And people don't like to talk to her. People are used to her going off. And a couple of times she's gone off on me. And then I go back to my desk like, fix it, Jesus. And she's come to my desk and apologized in front of people. If she's done it in email, she'll come back and apologize to me in email. I've learned how to speak to her in a way, because she likes people to, she can tell I'm a very strong person. And so, because she likes to dominate, I'm not going to let her dominate me. It's not happening. But I respect the authority and her position. So for her, when I'm in her presence, I purposely am softer. I'm softer in the way I carry myself. I'm softer in the way I deliver my language to her. I'm softer even in the tone that I use when I use it with her. Unless we're all out and she's having a beer, then I can kind of be more myself. But because she's had a couple of beers and she's loosened up a little bit. But it took me years to figure that piece out for myself, because I'm a people person and I don't like confrontation. And I like harmony. And people who like harmony, we have to be extra careful, because we will compromise who we are for the sake of harmony, for the sake of peace. Salt of the earth people do this, and influencers do this, because we're people.
And you got stuck. Yeah, because we're a people person. Yeah, and it happens to me all the time as well. Like, for the sake of peace, I will forgive a lot of things. And I'm like, yeah, no, but I've learned throughout the years that I have to put my standards as well. Like, and I can say it in love, like, look, that was not okay. Don't ever do it again. But let's, keep rolling. Let's keep moving forward, because there's no time to be living in the past anyways. We already have a body that thinks it's in the past, so we can't allow the rest to think it's in the past too, right? Well, we're changing that. So, yeah, I've had a lot of experiences like that myself too, right? Where, for the sake of peace, like I let the dominant personality dominate more than me. Just, I know I'm a dominant personality too, right? But it's like you can lead, whatever. Because some people just need the need to lead and tell you what to do, and don't take it wrong. Sometimes we actually need the guidance. Like I've been thankful for this dominant personalities that are a little bit more dominant than me, that have made me like realize stuff about myself that no other person would have dared told me so. It has helped me grow as a person, as a woman, as a Christian, as an empath, right? As my gifts flourish, it has given me wisdom as well. Because in all the evil, like Raquel said, like Jesus even had mercy for the demons, right? Like even the most toxic relationship I've had, I can pull out all the good things I learned from it. But you also have to know your standards and put some limits, right? We're not talking about abuse. Abuse is totally
Right.
different. I wanna clarify that, because some people are thinking, oh, but toxic comes with abuse. Yes and no. It depends, like Raquel said, right, with the personalities. And sometimes it's because they're confronting what happened to me, and that's why they say that soulmates can't marry each other and have kids. It's because we're a reflection of each other. And what bothers you about the other person, it's probably something that you have to deal with. And that's hard. That's a really hard truth. So, but until you can accept that, maybe that's what it is, maybe it's not. You have to analyze it. You have to listen to the words that you say, to the feelings that you have. You got to listen to your body, how it reacts with that person. Does it like, what is your body language? Does it open up? Does it close down? Do you bring out down your eyesight, right? Can you see them eye to eye? That's super important. Like your body is telling you everything. Listen to it. It's gonna whisper to you or it's gonna scream at you. You decide. You decide what to listen to. Right? When you come to protecting your energy, your body's gonna tell you what's going on. That's the first one you gotta listen to in order for you to be able to create some change. Because without that, there's no change. It's very hard to change. It's like the hardest thing to do, because our body is experiencing things that are being triggered by our environment. And they're being triggered by everything. And this with the movement of the health, the mental health, and like there's been a lot of mainstream things about this, and they talk about this, right, and how we have to protect our energy from all those words that are coming in, but they're here. They're already inside. So they're not only coming from outside, they're also already inside. And your body's gonna let you know if it's a personality thing, if it's something that you have to deal with, if it brings up a story from the past. Stay a little bit there and see where it's coming from, even if it hurts a little. Yeah, it's gonna hurt. I'm sorry. Growth is not easy, but it's worth it. It'll give you wisdom, and wisdom is priceless. When you have wisdom, people come to you. When you have wisdom, oh honey, you'll be wealthy. Wealthy. And I'm not promising anything. No guarantees here. You gotta do the work. You gotta do the work. But if you can't listen to your body, you're not listening to what you're thinking, you're not listening to what your heart is saying. You gotta listen to your heart. Even if the heart is evil, we gotta listen to it. It's part of you. Hello. One-on-one, right? Like you put apples with apples, right? We have to work on it every single day. And protecting your energy sometimes means shutting up. shut up. When people come in anger towards you, shut up and listen. When people whine about something, that's where they lack love. Love them back.
Mm-hmm.
If people are whining, I'm going to tell you a secret, women, if you want to know a secret about men. If they whine about something and about their past relationship, that's exactly their love language. Hello, am I talking clearly? Right, sweet?
Yes.
So love
Yes.
them back. And if it's you, you're whining about something, you're lacking that love that needs to be fulfilled. And if you're not fulfilling, like if you're in a couple, if you're not, I was listening to this and I really need to say, guys, you got to go listen to Tony Robbins. Those 6 pillars of the need, you got to be able to complement each other in order for us to have long lasting relationships. And that's not only with your couple, that's not only
Right.
with your partner, that's with your friends, that's with your kids, that's with, like, are you meeting them at their needs? Some people need more love than others. Some people need more certainty than others. Some people need, you know, we all have the 6 needs and they all have to be fulfilled, but some have more levels. So you got to find that. And first, it starts with you. Find
Absolutely.
what are your needs. How do you want to be loved?
Yes. And
That's
then love
important.
yourself that way.
Mm-hmm.
We want to exact standards on other people, but then we won't hold those same standards on ourselves. And so now
Exactly.
you're incongruent. Now you are not, there's a marriage. So the marriage, you have to be married within to be married without well. Your marriage is your spirit man is your king, the soul is the queen. And if the king and the queen are not getting along, are not in unison, which is the same thing with your thoughts and your feelings. Those are the two other aspects too. Those are your witnesses. And so if your thoughts and your feelings is the subconscious language, that's the conversation you're having with yourself. So if your conscious thoughts and your feelings are not matching, you're incongruent. If your spirit man and your soul are not in agreement, you're incongruent. And we have these multiple brains, physical brains. We have our natural mind. We have there is a scientific brain called the heart brain that has over 40,000 neurons or something like that in it. So it's got a different brain. And then you have your gut feeling, right? So you have all this stuff happening at the same time. And so it's
Plus
you have
your experiences, your environment, other people's perspective, their experiences. I mean, the media, the movies, Netflix, the news, and guys, politics, everything, right? So we
everything.
have so many things outside of us and inside of us that we need to start guarding it and protecting it. And that's the message for today. And with that, we've got to wrap up because this has been amazing, but it is time to let you go so you can go and practice this on yourself. Go
Yes.
love yourself, all right?
Yes. Love yourself first. Start. It's okay to say no, and you can say it in a loving way. You need to put in the time every single day to do something lovely for yourself. Because after a while, and you have to do it every day. If you are not doing something every day that is nurturing you, then that is the first order of things. You have to do something that's going to nurture you so that way you get used to being treated a certain way. What you allow will continue. You're allowing it. So you can't be pissed off at these toxic relationships that they've been going on for years when you have been allowing it by not building these boundaries, by not treating yourself well, by not nurturing yourself. So that is the first order. Start every day on purpose, consciously. Even if you have to say it out loud. I'm doing this for me. That's not being selfish. You are being selfish when you don't say no, when you don't nurture yourself. You need to keep yourself healthy. You will prosper and be in health as your soul prospers. Your soul is your mind, your will, and emotions. You need to nurture that. Do something nice for yourself that makes you happy every single day and do it on purpose for 90 days. Because after the 90 days, you're going to get used to somebody treating you with so much love because you're loving yourself that that's your new standard. And if they can't meet you in that level of how you love yourself or better, then they don't need to be in a close relationship. It doesn't mean that the relationship is gone, but you might have to, have them over there. So that's what you have to
On a
do.
pin.
Yes, you're like, you can go over there. I'm gonna love you from afar. You can go over there.
I love
So
you. I
love
love you.
yourself. Love yourself so that you can receive inside out work. Love yourself so that you can receive the love that you deserve. And you deserve to
Yes.
be loved and appreciated and honored, but you need to do that for yourself first. We love you guys.
We
We'll see
love
you
you.
soon.
God bless you. We will see you next Friday with another video to help you detox your mind, activate your confidence, rise up your influence, and attract a life you love. God bless you, and we'll see you next week. Bye
Bye,
bye.
dolls.